begin with the big breaking update that's coming in on the bomb blast reported in Bengaluru's iconic Rameshwaram Cafe. The confirmation here on India Today that this was indeed an IED blast that took place. It was an improvised device that was placed in the cafe, clearly with the intention of ensuring casualties. Sources have told us that the IED was kept in a bag at the cafe in Whitefield. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has just made a comment some time ago in Mysuru where he's confirmed that this was a high-intensity blast. This happened in the very, very popular Rameshwaram Cafe at the peak of lunchtime at 1 p.m. when you'd see the maximum crowds, both locals and tourists, gather at the cafe. So the intention was very, very clear. It was to target as many people as possible. 9 people have been injured as a result of this blast. And as we get you all the updates right now, let's begin by playing out for you Chief Minister Siddaramaiah's reaction.
ಅಲ್ಲಿ CCTV ಅವೆಲ್ಲ ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಯಾರೋ ಒಬ್ಬ ಬ್ಯಾಗ್ ಇಟ್ಟಿದ್ದು ಗೊತ್ತಾಗಿದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದು ಹೈ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಸಿವ್ ಬ್ಲಾಸ್ಟ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ, ಇಂಪ್ರೂವೈಸ್ಡ್ ಎಕ್ಸ್ಪ್ಲೋಸಿವ್ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳ್ತಾರೆ. ನೋಡಬೇಕಾದ್ರೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ತನಿಖೆ ನಡೀತಾ ಇದೆ.
So that's the comment that came in from the Chief Minister where he says that this is a high-level explosive that was used, says it was an improvised explosive device. Sagar Raj is joining us live from the spot where this blast took place, from outside the Rameshwaram Cafe in Whitefield in Bengaluru. The entire area has been cordoned off, but Sagar, get us the latest of the investigation. We understand that the forensics team has also reached that spot. They've collected all the necessary evidence. It's just a matter of time, really, before we get an official statement from the police.
Absolutely. State intelligence, NIA, FSL as well as the Bengaluru police are here at Parameshwara Cafe. They are collecting the samples inside the hotel where the Chief Minister of Karnataka, Siddaramaiah, has already clarified that it was a low-intensity improvised explosive inside the restaurant. And the blast happened close to that place where you can see the tents which has been completely torn off from the area, and the blast took place that way, and the intensity was that high for this particular restaurant that it has also faced repercussion inside the restaurant where the glass panels, windows, everything was broken immediately after the blast. And close to 9 people suffered injuries due to this particular incident, shifted to the private hospital near Brookefield, and thankfully all of them are out of danger and no casualties has been reported so far. The police are continuing their investigation. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah has also requested opposition not to make any kind of politics at this dire situation. And he has also mentioned that there was a similar kind of blast in the state in Bengaluru when BJP was in power. As we speak now, politics aside, the officials are collecting the sample and investigating further what was the intention behind this particular blast. Who was the person who was carrying the explosive in the bag and kept near the dustbin outside the Rameshwaram Cafe? So all are subject to investigation.
Can you just confirm that for us, Sagai? This bag, which reportedly carried the explosive device, was kept close to a dustbin close to the cafe?
Absolutely, as I was mentioning you earlier, that you can see those tent which has been torn off, which has come down after the blast. Everything was damaged only after this IED blast, and it was somewhere close to that place where a person who was carrying explosive in a bag has kept that near the dustbin and left there. He had come just like any other customer to the restaurant. He has purchased a token and went inside to have his lunch, and he left the bag there, and after a few minutes it has exploded. And these are the statement coming from the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Whatever I'm trying to brief you is from the Chief Minister of Karnataka, who said that an unknown person, a suspicious person, came with a bag and left the IED near a dustbin close to the restaurant. Now the police are collecting the sample. What kind of explosive was being used in this particular blast? We have also seen a few photographs where we could find out bolts and nuts and other things in that particular photograph. So this clearly shows that they have used an improvised explosive materials in that particular explosive, and they have kept to ensure that there is a low intensity but still damages, and to ensure that people should be afraid whenever they enter this particular restaurant or any restaurant in Bengaluru. Probably an alarm for the city of Bengaluru. It's an alarming situation for the police personnel in the city of Bengaluru, because they have to take cognizance of this and ensure that
extremely concerning. There's no doubt about that, that something like this has happened in the city of Bengaluru. This person, and Sagai was just explaining to us the sequence of events. The accused, it seems, a man appeared alone, didn't have any company, entered inside the cafe, had the bag with him. He entered into the cafe, went up to the booth where you pick up a token, as is very normal in South Indian eateries. There's no seating arrangement. It's all tables in a semi-outdoorsy setup. So he went, picked up the token, and then was standing in line. Right in front of the cafe where there's a dustbin, he placed the bag, then went about his business and left reportedly. Moments later, this blast took place. At this point, CCTV footage is still being looked into, so we still don't have details of who the accused is. No arrests, no detentions have taken place just yet. I want to bring in Anaga Keshav on this broadcast. She's reporting from the Brookefield Hospital in Bengaluru. Several of the injured are currently in that hospital. Anaga, I do hope none of them are in a critical condition.
Well, Akshita, the situation of one woman, she's about 40 years old, is a bit concerning. However, doctors have clarified that she is out of danger, but she has suffered 40% burn injuries and she will be undergoing plastic surgery, is what we heard from the doctor who's directly treating her. And we also learned that there are 3 people who have suffered huge damages to their eardrum because, because they were very proximal to the exact spot where the blast occurred. They were just eating just around that spot where the IED exploded. So 3 of them, one is Mr. Farooq Hussain, Deepanshu, and the other one is Swaranamta Narayanappa. All of them are software employees, is what we are learning. So out of the 3, 2 of them are completely out of danger. They just have some trauma that they are getting treated. But one woman, Swaranamta Narayanappa, she is a bit critical, Akshita. She has suffered a lot of burn injuries. Her husband is also inside. Some of us also spoke to him. The situation is a bit concerning, but all of us here are truly hoping that she comes out of the concerning zone as quick as possible.
This was an area, Rameshwaram Cafe. It's there across Bengaluru. The one in Whitefield is particularly popular among the IT-going crowd. Whitefield is where you have all your mega IT companies based. And at lunchtime, many of them would have taken a break from work, headed over to Rameshwaram Cafe for a bite. That's when this blast took place. So many of the victims right now, those who are injured, are IT employees who stepped out for a moment to grab a bite, only to get this shock, only for this kind of trauma to hit them off an IED blast taking place in the heart of the city. A lot of updates that have come in on the story, including footage also of the incident itself that shows you the kind of panic that broke out soon after the blast that rocked the Rameshwaram Cafe in Bengaluru. There has been a bit of back and forth with the BJP alleging that this is because of the Congress going soft on this issue. I'd like to bring in on this broadcast also Mr. PC Mohan, who is in fact the MP of this area of Bangalore Central. Mr. Mohan, unfortunate really that we're reporting on this kind of news coming in from Bengaluru. What have you picked up so far, sir, on what's happened?
It's very unfortunate what has happened. It's a very popular food joint. A lot of people go there. It is all well planned. See, last 2-3 days back also, a Rajya Sabha member wins. And the Pakistani slogans will come in Vidhan Sauda. See, whenever Congress is there, these kind of elements will flex their muscles. Definitely, NIA should intervene and take over this case. This is my request.
Okay, so you believe that the NIA must step in here. Whitefield, where this incident took place, falls in your constituency, sir. And obviously, right now, citizens will be extremely worried about their safety. What do you think has, in fact, triggered this kind of an attack? It's clear that the target was to ensure maximum casualties. It was to ensure IT employees perhaps are targeted.
Yeah, definitely, it's a very popular food joint, as I told you earlier. So definitely, NIA should interfere and do a this thing. Proper investigation has to be done because this Congress government will definitely go slow on this case. They will not do a proper investigation also. NA is a must now at this juncture.
Mr. Siddaramaiah earlier said that the last time this kind of an incident happened of an IED blast was under the BJP government. So he's saying this is not the time for politics.
No, it's not, because see, one thing, 3 days back, what slogans were shouted in Vidhan Sauda? Pakistan Zindabad, they said. Today what has happened? A bomb blast. Definitely, all these elements, definitely, they are very, they are flexing their muscles to harm people of Karnataka.
But, sir, as much as this is an incident that's very worrying for our national security, is it too early to link it to that particular incident of slogans being raised in the assembly?
Yeah, no. See, definitely, what I certainly feel, otherwise, nobody else, no other person will do it. See, they have chosen a place where a lot of crowd will be there. Any time of the day, you go, crowd is there in the food joint. They have selected a place also like that. They have planned it also very earlier.
No, I must agree with you on that it seems like the intention was to go ahead and ensure maximum casualties. Mr. Mohan, will you also be visiting the blast site? Are you going to be meeting with those who've been injured in this attack?
Yes, I'll certainly go.
And finally, sir, there are some reactions coming in from BJP leaders who are saying that this is nothing short of a terror attack. Do you agree with that sentiment?
See, definitely, I'll tell you, who else can do this? Who else can do this? Only terrorist activities, sir.
Okay.
Who else
all
can
right.
do? Only such people can do this.
Okay, all right. Mr. P.C. Mohan, thank you very much for joining us here on India Today. It's a member of parliament from BJP who is from Bangalore Central, so essentially represents Whitefield also, blaming the Siddaramaiah government, saying very clearly that the government is to blame for this kind of an incident happening, and drawing a link to, in fact, slogans allegedly of Pakistan Zindabad being raised in the assembly just 2 days ago. Okay, so as we get you all the latest updates, and you heard from the BJP MP there who says that clearly the intention, going by the information that's coming in, was to ensure maximum casualties are reported. Let's in fact show you more pictures that are coming in right now. These are pictures that we're putting out on our screens right now from the Rameshwaram Cafe. This is in fact of the blast site as well. Okay, these are images of those who've been injured, who were taken to hospital, rushed to hospital almost immediately. Many of them who've suffered burn injuries. One of the women who is injured has suffered about 40% of burn injuries. This is a video right after the blast took place, and you can see that locals gathered there to help all those who were injured. Many of them immediately stepped up to ensure that they got the necessary medical aid as well. There are many witnesses who are also speaking out, and we'll play out their reactions in just a bit for you, who have also said that all we heard was a loud bang, a loud sound. Some of us ran for our lives. Many of us turned around to see others were also injured. 9 people have been injured in this particular blast that has taken place in Bengaluru, in Whitefield. These are images of the aftermath, when you can see that people, including some of the staff members at Rameshwaram Cafe, stepping up to help all of these people. So let's get you all of the updates that are coming in. What you see on your screens is the CCTV footage soon after the blast took place. You can see the amount of damage reported. What you see on the left of your screens, and I'd advise viewer discretion as well, is one person who is badly injured, a woman there who seems to have fallen on the ground soon after the blast took place. She is unfortunately suffered about 40% burn injuries, but out of danger, and she is currently receiving the necessary medical treatment. We'll play out for you that CCTV footage once again. This was the aftermath of the blast that we images showed you, where you can see plumes of smoke, the area entirely empty as people ran for their lives. And you can see that the place where the blast took place, one woman was very, very close to where the bag was kept with that bomb, and she has suffered about 40% of burns. These images also show you the kind of investigation that's taking place right now with forensics team and others at the site. And that's the footage, the sequence that we're playing out for you again. People running in a panic as this was soon after the blast took place. On the left of your screens, you can see a woman there lying down because of the impact of the blast. She's seen attempting to turn around as well, and at this point she is in hospital. 9 people have been injured, but you can only imagine the kind of panic, the chaos that this led to as people immediately started running for their lives. The blast took place at about 1 p.m. Ambulances immediately reached the spot, and there you have the full sequence. The moment when the blast happened, it definitely seems like one that could have caused a huge amount of casualties. At one point, you see nothing in the footage but smoke completely engulfing the area. People immediately ran for their lives, and you can see all sorts of items thrown on the ground as they all ran away. On the left of your screens, because these are extremely sensitive images, we've blurred that part out where you can see one of the women badly injured and lying on the floor trying to get up. She was closest to the bomb. I was telling you earlier about how it was close to the entrance where the slab is, where a lot of people stand and eat. That's where this bag was kept with the explosives. And just before that, if you see just 1 second before the footage actually, you see about at least 10 to 15 people standing in that entire corridor where this bomb was placed. So in that corridor is where in fact the blast took place. So if you see the footage just 1 second before the blast happens, you see many people standing there, and soon after, when the entire camera is covered in smoke and you're not really able to capture what's happening, at that point, everyone runs in an absolute panic. This could have been very, very bad. Nothing short of a miracle, really, that we've not seen more casualties being reported, because the intention was very clear. When this kind of a bomb is planted in an extremely popular, crowded eatery, peak lunchtime, the message is very clear. The intention of the accused was to cause maximum possible harm. There was one woman there who faced the maximum brunt of that blast. She suffered about 40% burn injuries. There are many others also who suffered burn injuries on their back, on their hands. At different points, they were standing along this very corridor when the blast rocked this cafe. The entire area, you can see, completely a mess. Everything blown to bits. It gives you a sense of really how intense this explosion actually was. And just a brief second there. You see flames, and then you see this thick plume of smoke covering the entire corridor, and everyone running for their lives. The accused reportedly took a token from the counter as if he was going to sit there along with the rest of the crowd, and then went ahead and placed that bomb. This is another angle that we're showing you. You can see behind the counter, that's where the staff usually are. It was close to them as well, which is why we understand that there are some staff members who've also been injured in this particular blast. In this particular angle, you can see everyone running for it soon after the blast takes place. It gives you a sense of the amount of damage as well in this entire area. And this is what I was referring to when I said that, in these kind of cafes, most people are along the corridors. There are strangers who are all huddled up together for lack of space because it gets extremely crowded. And then at that point, when you've got all of these crowds there at 1 p.m. in the afternoon, everyone enjoying their lunch, suddenly they hear this loud sound, and that footage on your screen shows you the kind of chaos that broke out soon after as everyone started running for their lives. Many of them, mind you, were also injured, had burn injuries, but priority was to get out of there. And then you see some locals coming together and realizing that there's one woman there who is badly injured. We've blurred that out for you because it's extremely sensitive in nature, that footage. You can see a woman badly injured facing the brunt of that blast, and then slowly getting up as she realizes is really what's happened. And it's truly unfortunate that something like this has happened in the city of Bengaluru. At about 1 p.m. is when this blast happened. And immediately you see everyone scampering and running for their lives. Sagai, we're putting out the first CCTV images of the blast as it happened. We understand the cops are also going ahead and scanning this footage as well as the footage from hours ago to see who placed that bag. It looks like it was right at the corridor where many people are actually standing about and eating their lunch.
Absolutely. These are those areas, sitting area and standing area where the food has been served. It's a dining place, and you can see that the people are running around once the explosion happens in that point of time. And if you notice that people are seriously injured, and you can see the other footage which I shared earlier, that one of the t-shirts, you can see the holes in the t-shirt, that how those bolts and nuts has hit him very hard on his t-shirt, and many of them also suffered injured because of all those bolts and nuts. And the CCTV footage clearly shows that there were a large number of people gathered at lunchtime when this particular incident happened. And the timing is also quite clear that it was during lunch break that the people come in large number. Probably he has done a rakhi much before he could place his bomb with explosive, and here probably he has decided to come around 1 o'clock during lunch break and keep the explosive. Now the police are collecting the samples at Rameshwaram restaurant to understand what exactly has happened, what kind of explosions has been used in that particular explosive, which was carried in a bag and planted near a trash can in Rameshwaram Cafe.
So Sagai getting us those details from the ground. You can see the kind of security presence there right now. The entire area cordoned off. But I just want to play out for you one CCTV footage after the other to give you a sense of exactly what this looked like. The first image on your screen, on the left of your screens, shows you from the viewpoint of the customers who were there. And the bomb was closest to them actually. You can see that it's placed very, very close to the camera, which is why you can see the intensity of the blast actually play out live on your screens. There was a woman standing very, very close to the camera. The one closest to the camera has been the worst injured with about 40% burns. All the others who are along that corridor then run for it. Many of them have suffered burn injuries. But it tells you the placement of that bag, the placement of the bomb tells you that the intention was to ensure maximum casualties. On the right of your screens, if you've ever been to a Rameshwaram Cafe or for that matter a South Indian eatery, just imagine this is the counter behind which you've got the staff. On either side of the counter is where people are standing, people are sitting together, having their meals. And right there in one of those corners, it looks like that bag has been placed. We understand it was very close to a dustbin, which is why perhaps the accused maybe could have placed it 1 hour, 2 hours before the blast actually happened. And nobody thought it was suspicious because of the fact that it was right next to a dustbin. So nobody checked on this bag. Maybe that's why he had placed it very, very close to a dustbin. But as we get you all the latest that's coming in, the investigation is underway. We're right on top of that, getting you all the updates that we're picking up from our sources in the Bengaluru police. This footage tells you really the scale of the intensity of that blast and how many people could have been casualties in this kind of an incident. It's extremely worrying, extremely concerning. Hours after an IED blast at the iconic Rameshwaram Cafe in Bengaluru's Whitefield, you've got the BJP now demanding that the Karnataka Home Minister, Mr. G. Parameshwara, step down, resign immediately. The BJP is also demanding that the NIA investigate this blast. I spoke earlier also to BJP MP PC Mohan, who said that we don't trust the Siddaramaiah government to carry forward this investigation. We want a central agency to take over. We want the NIA to investigate this blast. I'd like to bring in on this broadcast Nagarjun Dwarkanath, who's joining us live with more details on this. Nagarjun, in a few moments from now, we're expecting a press conference by the BJP. The Bharatiya Janata Party linking it to the pro-Pak slogans that were allegedly raised in the Karnataka Assembly and also demanding the Home Minister's resignation now.
Well, that's true. In fact, that is tweeted by the BJP legislator Basangoda Yetnal, who has been attacking the government from the last week over the pro-Pak slogans raised in the assembly, and now he has demanded the resignation of the Karnataka Home Minister Dr. G. Parameshwara, saying he has to take the moral responsibility of lack of security here in the Bengaluru city after the Chief Minister has confirmed that it was true that it was an IED blast and 9 people are injured and admitted to hospital. If that is the state of security in Karnataka, Home Minister should be sacked is what BJP is demanding. As we speak, I am at the BJP headquarters of Karnataka here. 7 p.m. is when they also will address the press conference, and most likely the stand that BJP will also take is demanding resignation of the Home Department Minister, which is Dr. G. Parameshwara, because in the last few years we have not seen such any instances in Karnataka or in Bengaluru city. Rameshwaram Cafe is a place where a lot of people go there for breakfast, dinner and lunch. A lot of footfalls are there. So people who have done this knew that there would be a lot of footfalls in the same hotel, and hence the blast. We have seen the CCTV visuals. It was clear intent to create panic, to create casualties with the intensity of the blast that we have seen. What information that we have got from the Chief Minister is that a person in the CCTV comes, puts his bag near the dustbin, near the cash counter, takes the token or the bill from the cash counter and walks away, and that bag explodes. And sources have confirmed to us that it was one improvised explosive device used and no more devices found. So one device has caused this blast inside the Rameshwaram Cafe, and BJP now is saying that they demand the resignation of Karnataka's Home Minister.
Look, it's too early to draw any link between this incident and what played out in the Vidhan Sauda 2 days ago, these alleged pro-Pak slogans that were raised. But the BJP is now saying that there must be an investigation by the NIA. They're also demanding the Karnataka Home Minister's resignation right now. Chief Minister Siddaramaiah so far has spoken and confirmed that investigation is on. He's confirmed that, yes, it was an IED. He was asked specifically whether this was an act of terror. He said it's far too early to jump to these conclusions. So while we get you all of the footage, you see the CCTV footage that we have that shows you the intensity of the blast. There on the left of your screens is in fact the camera that's closest to the bomb, which was placed at the counter, the cash counter. On the right of your screens, you see that on the extreme left. That's where the cash counter was. It is soon after that the blast takes place. So this man, the accused, kept his bag down while pretending to take a token, then left it there and walked off, and nobody really noticed. It led to this massive blast and people running for their lives. You can see how packed it is. There were scores of people there having lunch. It was peak lunchtime at 1 p.m. So make no mistake in your mind, the intention was to harm people. The intention was to ensure casualties. That's why perhaps the Rameshwaram Cafe was chosen, because of how immensely popular it is, because of how crowded it gets during any meal time of the day. And this particular footage shows you how many people were there at the cafe when that blast rocked the premises. And it was placed very, very close to where all of the customers are, very close to that corridor where all of them stay. Many of them, of course, strangers. Everyone gathers together because there's no place in this cafe. It's extremely popular. So they all kind of huddle around, and it's right there that this particular bag was placed with the intention to ensure that there were maximum casualties. One woman who was closest to the bag has suffered the most grievous injury. She suffered about 40% of burns, but hospital authorities have confirmed that she's out of danger. And I'd like to bring in Anaga Keshav also on that. Anaga has been tracking all the latest from Brookefield Hospital, which is where some of the injured have been rushed. Anaga, what is the condition of the victims right now? We understand that one woman has suffered the most injuries, but there are several others who also suffered burn injuries. Many of them had their back to where, in fact, the bomb was. Some of them were standing close, so their arms have been burned. Some of them have got burn injuries on their back, we understand.
Well, Akshita, their eardrums have also been severely injured. The doctor has stated that it's a bit difficult to reverse the kind of damage that has been inflicted because the sheer sound of that blast was too high, Akshita. Because imagine that cafe, it's always crowded and it's a very, very, very cramped area. So you don't really have much space to walk around. So the sound and the intensity of the blast was so high that everyone who was standing around the cash counter has been severely affected. Their eardrums specifically has been severely harmed. The doctors, especially the ear specialists, I've been told that they've rushed to the spot, including a plastic surgeon to treat the woman who has sustained 40% burn injuries throughout her body. 40% is actually a pretty high number, Akshita. This damage that has been inflicted on this woman that we're talking about, she hails from Bangalore, is pretty severe. So we have plastic surgeons. The doctor has specifically mentioned that she is out of the danger zone, so death is out of the way. But the situation is still very alarming. The kind of damage that her body parts have suffered, we do need somebody who specializes in the field of cosmetic surgery to come and fix this, is what Dr. Pradeep Kumar told us. In addition to that, if you look at that CCTV visual, this cannot be a coincidence that they've planted the bomb bang in the middle of that peak hour when the dining intensity is pretty high. So all of this was completely pre-planned. And just by looking at that CCTV visual, Akshita, it just gives me chills. Because by looking at that, you can see that it was a pretty normal day at Rameshwaram Cafe. Normally hustling and bustling, always flooded with people. And in just a split second, their lives are turned forever. Imagine the mental trauma that all these customers would undergo for the next days, weeks, and perhaps even years. And that is irreversible, Akshita.
I think the fact that it's happened in Bengaluru, look, this could happen to any of us. You go out, step out for lunch with your friends, your family, to these kind of very popular eateries, and this kind of a blast happens. Obviously, it's extremely concerning for every Bengalurian out there, and we completely understand that, how this could probably rock you really to even imagine that Rameshwaram Cafe, where so many Bengalurians go, where so many tourists go because of how iconic their food is, a blast like this happening right during peak lunchtime. I just want to play out for you what the top cop of Karnataka, what the DGP has said so far about this incident.
ಆಮೇಲೆ ಸುಮಾರು 9 ಜನ ಇಂಜರ್ಡ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ, ಬಟ್ ಯಾರು ಸೀರಿಯಸ್ ಇಲ್ಲ. ನಾವು ತನಿಖೆ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ ಮತ್ತು ಎಲ್ಲ ನಮ್ಮ FSL ಟೀಮ್ಸ್ ಎಲ್ಲ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಮತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಸಿಟಿ ಕಮಿಷನರ್ ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಇಲ್ಲಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಎಲ್ಲ ಆಫೀಸರ್ಸ್ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ನಾವು ಖಂಡಿತವಾಗಿ ಯಾರು ಮಾಡಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಪತ್ತೆ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಜಾಸ್ತಿ ಇಂಜರಿ ಇಲ್ಲ, ಬಟ್ ಈಗ ಟ್ರೀಟ್ಮೆಂಟ್ ನಡ್ತಾ ಇದೆ. ನಾವು ಈಗಾಗಲೇ ಚೆಕ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದೀವಿ. ಇದು ತುಂಬ ನಾವು ಅಡ್ವಾನ್ಸ್ ಅಲ್ಲಿ ಹೇಳಲಿಕ್ಕೆ ಬೇಡ, ಯಾಕೆ ಅವರು ಫಸ್ಟ್ FSL ಎಲ್ಲ ಟೀಮ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಅವರು ಎಲ್ಲ ಅದು ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಕಲೆಕ್ಟ್ ಮಾಡಿ ಆದ್ಮೇಲೆ ನಾವು ಎಕ್ಸಾಮಿನ್ ಮಾಡ್ತೀವಿ. ಆಮೇಲೆ
Let me bring in Nagarjun back on this broadcast. Nagarjun, we just heard what the DGP said, not really divulging too many details, essentially saying that, look, once the forensics team comes out with their report, we'll be able to confirm exactly what was the nature of the blast, though the Chief Minister has said that this was very much an IED. They're still going through the CCTV footage, we understand, but have they been able to zero in on the man who placed that bag?
Well, not completely yet, but they are seeing the CCTV footages of not just the hotel, but also the surrounding areas, because they want to establish the complete identity of who was the person who kept the bag. As of now, they know the face, but they also have to see the mobile tower dump of the footage of where he came from, and also surrounding areas. So they also have to track the CCTV footages back end so that they can join the dots from where did he start, and then if he used a vehicle to reach the hotel, if he used a public transport. All of this will be found out in next couple of days. But as of now, at least we have the CCTV footage that shows that a person keeping a bag near the cash counter and that exploding. So the police right now are looking for the identity of the person who kept that. They have called him an accused now, and if there's anyone behind him, is it a chain of people who have done it, or is just one isolated
Nagarjun,
incident?
I'm just going to come back to you. There's a statement that's come in from Chief Minister Siddaramaiah. He's taken to social media to put out a statement. It's in Kannada, but let me just read out the translation effectively now. The investigation into the explosion that took place at the Rameshwaram Cafe in Bengaluru is going on in full swing. Strict action will be taken against the culprits for sure. Preliminary investigations revealed a small improvised explosive device. More information will be available after the full report. It was reported that the person who had taken the token from the cashier and had breakfast there left the bag Around 8 people were injured in the incident. Fortunately, all escaped unhurt. We're checking the CCTV camera. The investigation is going on. The Home Minister has been asked to visit the place. Such an incident should not have happened. Another such incident happened in Mangalore. Whoever did this will be found. Strict action will be taken. Opposition parties should not play politics in such matters. Everyone should now cooperate with the government. So a detailed statement from Chief Minister Siddaramaiah here, essentially saying that this is a small improvised explosive device, confirming to us that this man had gone up to the cashier, taken a token to have breakfast, left the bag there. That will beg the question of whether the bag was left unattended for hours together, and then the blast took place about 1 p.m. Siddaramaiah also saying that yes, such an incident should never have happened, but that the investigation is underway. He's also appealing to the opposition, saying don't politicize this incident. Let's all work together. Let's all ensure that we cooperate with the investigation right now. This is the statement that's come in from Siddaramaiah at a time when the BJP has been saying that this is a failure of the state machinery on display. We'll continue getting you all the reactions that are coming in right now. And you see that CCTV footage on your screens that shows you exactly what the scale of the blast really was.